The biggest regret of her life. A story of betrayal and redemption. Have you ever given your heart, your time, your entire future to someone, only to realize they never truly saw you as part of theirs? It's a chilling realization, like waking up from a beautiful dream to find yourself in a cold, empty room. That's exactly what happened to me. For 6 years, my world was a universe of two, orbiting a star named Sophia. I poured everything I had into that universe. My ambitions, my savings, my dreams, they were all intertwined with hers, and when the truth finally came out, when she shattered that universe, with a few careless words and humiliated me in front of everyone who mattered to her, I didn't just walk away. I made sure she would never forget the day she underestimated the man who loved her most. This is not a story about revenge. It's a story about reclamation. This is how I went from being introduced as her friend to becoming the biggest regret of her life. My name's Daniel, and this is my story. On paper, my life was perfect. At 34, I was a senior architect at a prestigious firm. I designed buildings meant to last for centuries. But my own life's foundation was built on sand. My world didn't revolve around blueprints or buildings. It revolved around Sophia. We met 6 years ago at a mutual friend's housewarming party. I was in the corner talking about structural engineering, and she was in the center of the room, holding court with a story about backpacking through Thailand. She had this gravity, a force of nature in a cocktail dress. She walked into a room, and its center of gravity shifted with her. I was pulled into her orbit instantly. Our life together felt like a movie montage. We took a spontaneous trip to the Amalfi Coast, renting a scooter and getting lost on winding cliffside roads. I remember the taste of salt on her lips and the way her laughter echoed over the sea. We spent countless nights on our apartment balcony, wrapped in blankets, planning a future that seemed as bright and limitless as the city lights below. We'd argue playfully about the number of kids we'd have or the color we'd paint our dream house. It all felt so real. My best friend Ethan saw it too. He was my reality check, the anchor in my life. We'd known each other since college. Over beers, he'd often joke with me. "Man, you're already married," he'd say, clapping me on the back. "You just haven't filed the paperwork yet. When's the big day?" I'd just smile. "Soon," I'd reply, believing it with every fiber of my being. For years, I lived in that beautiful, gilded cage of belief. But slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the gold began to flake away, revealing the cold iron bars beneath. The cracks began to show. It started with small things. In public, she'd subtly pull her hand away if she saw someone from her corporate world. Her Instagram, once a shared diary of our life, slowly transformed. Our pictures together were archived, replaced by a carefully curated gallery of her professional achievements. Solo selfies at networking events, motivational quotes about climbing the corporate ladder, and photos with industry influencers. I had vanished. One evening, I tried to bring it up gently. "Hey, I was scrolling through your feed today. I miss seeing us on there. Is everything okay?" She didn't even look up from her laptop. "Daniel, my image is crucial in my industry. It's about branding. It needs to be clean and focused. You wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand." That phrase became her shield and my prison. It was her polite, dismissive way of saying I didn't belong in the world she was so desperate to conquer. The world where I was apparently a liability. Ethan, ever the observer, noticed it too. We were at a sports bar, watching a game. "Bro, serious question," he said, turning down the volume. "I'm not trying to stir things up, but I gotta ask. How come she never posts you anymore? It's like you're a ghost. Are you hiding her, or is she hiding you?" I tried to laugh it off, to defend her. "Nah, man, you know how she is with her work. It's all about appearances." But his question stuck with me, a sharp splinter in my mind. Deep down, in a place I was too afraid to look, I already knew the answer. The breaking point, the night the foundation finally crumbled, was her company's annual awards gala. It was the biggest night of her corporate year, a spectacle of power and influence. "You don't have to worry about the gala next month," she had told me casually weeks before. "It's a strictly employees-only thing." Super boring. I accepted it without question. But a week before the event, I was walking past the study and overheard her on the phone. Her voice was dripping with charm. "Yes, of course, bring your husband. It'll be wonderful to finally meet him. Oh, and I heard Emily's fiancé is coming too. The more the merrier. It'll be so much fun." I stood frozen in the hallway, the blood draining from my face. It wasn't just a lie. It was the ease with which she told it. I confronted her later that evening, trying to keep my voice steady. "I thought you said the gala was employees only." She was instantly annoyed, her mask of pleasantness dropping. "God, Daniel, it's a stuffy, boring corporate event, full of people you don't know. I was trying to spare you the agony. I want to be there," I said, my voice firmer now, "to support you. It's your big night." She let out a long, theatrical sigh. "Fine, come, but please, for my sake, just try to fit in. Mingle a little, but don't. You know, just behave, behave." The word hung in the air between us, thick with condescension. As if I were a child she had to supervise at an adult party. It stung, deeply, but I was still clinging to hope. I was determined to prove her wrong, to show her I could fit into her world. I went out and bought a sharp, elegant Armani suit. Ethan came with me. "There you go," he said, adjusting the knot of my tie in the mirror. "You're about to walk in there and show every single person in that room who the real prize is." The night of the gala was an assault on the senses. A grand hotel ballroom with towering crystal chandeliers and floors so polished they reflected the ceiling. Sophia was breathtaking in a black designer gown, a vision of ambition and elegance. But she barely spoke a word to me in the car. As we walked in, I felt a surge of pride, a foolish hope that tonight would be different. For a fleeting moment I thought, we look good together. I felt proud to be on her arm, but that feeling lasted for about 5 seconds. Her CEO, a polished, silver-haired man named Mr. Harrison, approached us with a warm smile. "Sophia, a pleasure to see you. You look stunning. And this is—" Before I could extend my hand and introduce myself, she cut in, her voice a little too bright, her smile a little too wide. "Oh, this is Daniel, a close friend. He helps me out with things sometimes. Friend." The word was a punch to the gut. I felt the air leave my lungs, my forced smile freezing on my face. Mr. Harrison nodded politely and moved on, but I was stuck, my feet feeling like they were cemented to the marble floor. The rest of the night was a slow, agonizing series of 1,000 similar cuts. Each introduction was a fresh wound. To a group of her colleagues, or, "This is my friend Daniel." To a rival from another department, "Oh, him? He's a colleague from a different field." Sometimes she didn't introduce me at all. I was just the shadow trailing behind her, holding her clutch while she networked. The final crushing blow came at the bar. I was ordering a drink when one of her co-workers, a slick young man I'd never met, leaned in conspiratorially. "So," he said with a smirk, "how long have you been her assistant?" I just stared at him, my mind blank. I forced a tight smile, my knuckles turning white as I gripped my glass. I felt invisible, worthless. The ride home was filled with a silence so heavy it felt hard to breathe. I waited until we were inside our apartment before I finally broke it. My voice was quiet, heavy with the pain of the entire evening. After 6 years, after everything, I'm just a friend? She tossed her keys onto the counter and rolled her eyes, completely unapologetic. "Oh, Daniel, don't be so dramatic. You just don't get it, do you? In my world, having a serious long-term boyfriend is a liability. It makes you seem settled, less hungry. It signals you're not willing to do whatever it takes to get to the top. Besides," she added, turning to face me with a cold smirk, "you should feel lucky I even keep you around. Most women in my position would have upgraded by now." And that was it. The moment everything shattered beyond repair. She hadn't just hidden me. She was ashamed of me. She saw me as a dead weight on her climb to success. That night, I didn't fight back. I didn't yell. The pain was too deep for anger. I just nodded, my expression unreadable. "You're right," I said, my voice eerily calm. "I should be grateful." She seemed satisfied with my surrender. She yawned, said she was exhausted, and went to bed. But I didn't sleep. I stayed up all night, and in the quiet darkness of our living room, I made a plan. At 1 a.m., I sat in the dark living room, the city lights mocking the darkness inside me. I called Ethan, he answered groggily. Man, it's the middle of the night. What's up? My voice cracked as I recounted the evening. She humiliated me, Ethan. She called me her friend and then told me I should feel lucky she keeps me around. There was a moment of stunned silence on the other end of the line. Then, Ethan's voice came back, not with sympathy, but with cold, hard fury. That's it. It's over. Walk. You need to walk away, bro. Tonight. Get out of there, and don't you dare look back. For the first time, I didn't argue. I didn't make excuses for her, I agreed. The decision was like a switch flipping in my brain. The suffocating pain was still there, but now it had a purpose. It became fuel. The next few hours were a blur of methodical action. I walked through the apartment, our shared home, and took photos of everything I owned with my phone. Every book, every piece of furniture, every gadget. It wasn't sentimental. It was for evidence. I sat at my laptop, my fingers flying across the keyboard. I sent a crisp, professional email to my lawyer. The subject line was, "Immediate dissolution of joint assets." In the body, I detailed everything. Next, I found the number for a 24-hour moving company and booked a team for 9 a.m. the next morning. Finally, I opened my drafts folder and found an email I had saved months ago. It was a job offer from my old boss in London, a fantastic opportunity I had turned down for Sophia. I composed a new email. The subject was, London offer. The message was short and to the point. Is the position still available? I'm ready to accept. I hit send without a moment's hesitation. By the time the first hint of dawn appeared, my old life was scheduled for demolition. The next morning felt surreal. Sophia left for work with a quick, distracted kiss to the air near my cheek. Have a good day, she said, already thinking about her first meeting. The moment her car disappeared down the street, I opened the door for the movers. They worked with brutal efficiency. The apartment was systematically and quietly emptied of my life. The living room became a hollow, echoing space with pale rectangles on the walls where our photos used to hang. I left only one thing behind, a single, handwritten note on the cold marble of the kitchen counter. It read, "Good luck with the rent, friend." I checked into a hotel across town. By evening, my phone started to explode. A relentless barrage of calls and texts. Daniel, what the hell is going on? Where is all your stuff? This is not funny. Call me now. Are you seriously leaving me over one stupid comment? Are you insane? The rent is due next week, Daniel. It's over $5,000. What am I supposed to do? I watched the screen light up again and again. Then, with a strange sense of calm, I silenced the phone and put it face down on the nightstand. The storm had begun, but for the first time in a long time, I was in the eye of it, untouched. I thought leaving, disappearing, would be the end of it. I'd moved to London, she'd figure things out. A clean break. But 2 days later, I got a call that changed the entire game. It was from Maya, one of Sophia's co-workers, a quiet but kind woman who had always made a point of talking to me at company parties. Her voice was hesitant. "Daniel, I'm so sorry to bother you. I heard you two split. I felt you deserved to know the truth. Sophia, she has been seeing Marcus from the legal department. For months. It's an open secret at the office. Everyone knows. She never, ever mentions you." The hotel room seemed to tilt on its axis. I sat down heavily on the edge of the bed, the phone still pressed to my ear. The humiliation from the gala was one thing. This was a betrayal so profound it stole my breath. She hadn't just erased me from her present and future. She had been replacing me all along. Marcus, the company's golden boy lawyer. Ambitious, ruthless, and a predator in a bespoke suit. I remembered meeting him once at a dinner. I remembered his handshake, a little too firm, a power play. I remembered the way his eyes lingered on Sophia a second too long. I should have known. That's when I decided a quiet exit wasn't justice. She didn't deserve my silence. She deserved consequences. Cold, hard, unavoidable consequences. My plan became a three-pronged attack. First, the financial strike. I instructed my lawyer to immediately pull my significant investment from the downtown condo we co-owned. This triggered a clause forcing a premature sale in a down market, costing her tens of thousands in potential equity. Simultaneously, I closed our joint savings account, the one she called her safety net. That net was now gone. Second, the social declaration. My London job was confirmed. I posted a carefully worded announcement on LinkedIn. Thrilled to announce I've accepted a senior architect position with my old firm in London. Can't wait to start this exciting next chapter. The post blew up. It was flooded with likes and congratulatory comments from friends, family, and professional contacts. I knew she and her entire corporate circle would see it. It was a public declaration of my success without her. Third, and most devastating, was the rumor. I didn't have to lie. I just had to use the truth. I was having coffee with Ethan when his cousin, who worked in a different division of Sophia's massive company, stopped by our table. I made sure to casually mention it. "Yeah, it's a shame about me and Sophia," I said with a sad shrug. I guess it was hard competing for her time. Her boss, Marcus, they always seemed very close. Great work synergy, I guess. I said it with just the right amount of feigned ignorance. I knew that in a corporate environment, a rumor like that is a lit match in a fireworks factory. An undisclosed relationship between a manager and a subordinate. Especially a lawyer who is supposed to uphold company policy. It was a ticking time bomb. HR launched a formal investigation within a week, and when cornered, a snake will always shed its skin to survive. Marcus, faced with losing his license and career, did what lawyers do best. He protected himself. He painted Sophia as the ambitious seductress who pursued him, claiming he was a victim of her advances. He threw her directly and brutally under the bus to save himself. A week later, I was packing the last of my boxes into a shipping container, preparing for my move to London. My phone rang. It was her. I ignored it. Then she appeared. She showed up at my hotel, looking like a ghost of her former self. The power suit was gone, replaced by simple jeans and a crumpled t-shirt. Her hair was a mess, her makeup was smeared, and her eyes were red and puffy from crying. Her voice was a desperate, broken whisper. All this destruction. Because I called you a friend? I stopped what I was doing and looked at her. Really looked at her, the woman I had loved for 6 years. And I felt nothing. No anger, no love, just a profound, empty pity. My voice was calm and cold. No, Sophia. All of this. Because when I asked you for a little respect, you looked me in the eye and told me I should feel lucky to be kept around. She stepped closer, her hands clasped in front of her as if in prayer. I didn't mean it like that. I was stressed. Please, Daniel. You can fix this. You're a good person. Just talk to HR. Tell them it was all a misunderstanding, that the rumor was false. I slowly shook my head. I never spoke to HR, Sophia. I didn't have to. This was all your doing. Your choices, your secrets, your consequences. I just stopped standing in the way of them. And I will not lie for you. Tears finally streamed down her face. I loved you, you know, she choked out. I closed the trunk of my car. The soft but final click echoed in the quiet parking garage. Funny thing about love, I said, looking her in the eye one last time. It requires respect, something you never learned how to give. And with that, I got in my car, drove away, and never looked back. 6 months later, London felt like home. The city was alive, and for the first time, so was I. My career took off in ways I'd never imagined. I found friends who valued me for who I was, not what I could do for them. I even started dating again, slowly, cautiously. One evening, Ethan called me and I could hear the laughter in his voice. "You are not going to believe this," he said. "Guess who I just saw on Facebook Marketplace? Sophia, selling her designer bags and shoes to make rent money." We both laughed. It wasn't a laugh of malice, but of a strange, sad, cosmic justice. Sometimes late at night I wonder if I went too far, but then I remember the cold, dismissive look in her eyes at that gala. I remember the sting of her words. You should feel lucky I keep you around." And I realize I didn't ruin her life, she did. She built her empire on a foundation of lies and disrespect, and it was bound to collapse. I just finally had the courage to step out of the way and let gravity do the rest. Because here's the truth I learned, the one I'll carry with me forever. If someone doesn't see your value, don't waste a single second of your life trying to prove it to them. Walk away, and let them learn the hard way exactly what they lost.